Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about the film Elysium. Now, this is going to be full of spoilers. This movie's been out for a while, so I feel no problem discussing it openly. This is a science fiction film that wanted to be a discussion about class. And the politics in it are about as subtle as a sledgehammer. Our main character is some powerless schlub that works in a crushing job in America where the unemployment rate is incredibly high. I don't know specifics, but the number of people that work is far below the percentage of people that exist. Most people eke by on, I'm not quite sure how. A lot of them seem to be engaged in some kind of criminal activity. And the powerful elite, all of them, all of the powerful elite, live on a space habitat called Elysium. Now, Elysium is really close to Earth, closer than it should be. Elysium should be at the L5 point, and the L5 point is the gravitational balance point between Earth and the Moon. And at the L5 point, it would be stable. You wouldn't need to do anything to keep it in place. The Elysium shown in this film would have to be constantly adjusting it because it's practically barely outside the atmosphere. And one of the things that they have on board this habitat, they have these metal bays. They're beds. You get in the bed, hit the button, the bed scans you, and within 30 seconds, you're healed of every disease and every illness you have. Literally, it will rebuild your body. It will re-knit your bones and muscles and organs and nerves and everything. It will cure everything. Yet on the planet Earth, where all the schlubs live, where all the 99.999% of the population lives, they have at best the medical technology of the present. And for the most part, they're just expected to die. Now, our schlub is irradiated while on the job. Now he suddenly has an impetus to get up to that space station and get healed. Prior to that, with no self-interest, he didn't care. He just tried to make it through the day. An attitude that many people have, I understand that. They don't want to make changes in the world because they don't think they can, so they just go about their lives and try to stay below the radar. I understand that. But suddenly, his self-interest is, if I don't get up there in 5 days, I'm dead. So he has convoluted storylines, criminal activities, a little cybernetic power frame they bolt to his body. It looks nice. It's a lot of nice action. And it was fun as far as if you could erase the politics and just look at it as an action film. It was fairly entertaining. But I can't do that because the film had some massively stupid things involved in it. For example, there was a shoulder-launched weapon. Not a big deal. We have shoulder-launched weapons now. It was a 4-chamber missile launcher. I think that's bigger than any of the missile launchers we have right now. I don't know of any 4 chambers. I think we have some 2-chamber ones. I'm not positive. But they would allow you to fire a missile from the planet's surface, man-portable, shoulder-mounted, into orbit. That was silly. They have force field technology. They have medical miracles. And yet the machines that make the parts they need to continue this idyllic existence up there on that habitat have no safety features. They have fewer safety features than we have in the world today. Now, I want you to understand, folks, I work in a factory. I've worked in manufacturing for over 30 years. I understand how machines work. I understand how safety features work. And the safety features aren't just there to keep employees safe. You might think that, they're called safety features. They're to keep the safe. Yeah, they're there to keep production rolling. Because a machine that's down because an person's injured and is inside the machine in pieces is not making parts. So don't let no one tell you that it's about safety of the operator. It's about keeping that machine going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, making pieces. That's what it's about. So a machine that has no safety features is less efficient and is going to make fewer parts and is going to cost the company more money and make less profit than one that has the functioning safety features. Because if that machine in the film had a safety feature, he could have just opened the door, fixed the object, closed the door, and the film would have just kept rolling as another schlub doing nothing but making it through the day. That would have been the film. But no, the writers are lazy. And their politics were bigger than actually thinking about a functioning storyline. In a 3 to 4 hour time period, I've come up with storylines in my head for campaign ideas that will never get used. ever, that are more internally consistent than almost everything I see in science fiction films. There's something about science fiction films that think, ooh, it's got pretty technology and explosions. We don't have to think about storylines. The habitat has an open roof. It's a ring, and the inside of that, in the inner surface of that ring, it's actually a torus, has no roof. It's a force screen. Why would you do that? Oh, I know why you do that. That way ships from Earth, because remember, Earth is so close it's barely outside the atmosphere, the habitat's barely outside the atmosphere, can get up to the habitat, fly through the nice open roof, and land illegal immigrants who are all trying to either find a job or make it to those bays to get killed. Okay? And the habitat is more than happy to blow them out of the sky. Okay? Because if you had an actual functioning airlocks with a solid torus, which is what you want, because if the power fails on that thing, the atmosphere is going to go whoosh, and everyone's going to die. If you had airlocks, you could control the entry, and that would not be allowed. You couldn't have ships just landing at random, because they'd have to go through an airlock system. They couldn't get in. It's lazy writing. And if you just had one of those hailing devices in the factory where the schlub worked, one of them, it would take less time, use less resources, and less money just to heal the guy who was irradiated. Then have him sign a document, give him 5 days worth of pills that are going to keep him alive until his body breaks down, and send him on his way. And you'd have so much loyalty. Think about the company loyalty, where if every single employee and their families could use this one bay whenever they needed to use it. And if you just had 2 of these things in every hospital, rotating, 2 of them running, constant, 24/7, you would have so many people healed and able to continue living their lives healthily, which is better for your bottom line. But then again, why the heck are they using humans to build anything? They have general purpose robots in this game, rather than this world. General purpose robots. Ones that can use armor and weapons, and they can make decisions, and you don't need humans anymore. You build 1 of these general purpose robots, who builds 2 of these general purpose robots, who builds 4 of these general purpose robots, and then humans become superfluous. But you still would want to make sure that humans are happy. The level of technology in this world, that you could have all the housing, all the food, all the education, everything you need to keep all the humans on the planet fat and happy, watching sports, playing in parks, and not giving a crap about what the leaders are doing up in that habitat. Heck, the leaders could live here on Earth, and the population still wouldn't care. It's blood and circuses, folks. It worked for the Romans, it would work now, it'll work in the future. Keep the population fat and happy, they will not disrupt your evil, corrupt system. That would have been easier and cheaper than oppressing the people on the planet the way they did in this film. But that would mean you'd have to have some kind of subtle discussion of politics as opposed to nailing us with a sledgehammer every couple of minutes. Now, at the end of the film, they finally get to the habitat and they're able to reboot the main computer with some kind of code. And the idea is they're going to reboot it and they're going to rewrite it so that the system then makes all the people on Earth citizens of Elysium, granting them rights, because they have none. None of the people on the planet have any. And then they will then be able to be healed and fed and educated and yada yada yada. So they pull this off. They reboot the system, and they go to arrest someone. The president of the Elysium says, arrest this person, and one of the robots says, I cannot arrest a citizen of Elysium. What bullshit! You're telling me in all the decades that Elysium is up there and running, that there's never been a piece of criminal activity on board that habitat, so no one in Elysium has ever been arrested for embezzlement, for shoplifting, for rape, for sexual assault, for being drunk in fights? Nothing. There's never been a law broken. So you're telling me that one of the subtle comments this film was making is that the uber rich and elite are absolute virtuous, even though one of the main characters is trying to reboot that computer to make herself the president and become a dictator. Okay? But no, everyone up there is virtuous. Never been any scandals of any kind. Never any laws broken. But okay, great. You reboot it. Now everyone's a citizen of Elysium. Everyone can get what they want. And the computer's saying that you can't arrest anyone, which means absolute lawlessness. If there are no legal consequences for your actions, if you cannot be arrested for anything, what is to stop criminals from just doing what they want? Now, admittedly, The percentage of human beings that will want to take advantage of this is incredibly small. But as we know in the real world, it takes a small amount of people to disrupt a society. You need to have certain structures in place. And admittedly, if everyone is fat and happy and housed and fed, the percentage of people being disruptive will be fairly small. But if there's no one to enforce any laws, because there essentially are none, they're still going to be disruptive. This is stupid. So yeah, it was pretty. That's about all it had going for it. So tell me, what did you think about Elysium? And are you capable of watching these pretty films without analyzing them when you're watching it? Because there are times when I'd like to be able to turn that off, and I can't.